find out what digital minimalism is, why it is important, and how it can help you in today's talk. Stay tuned to learn more. Hello everyone, this is Salik and welcome to another episode of the Growth Philosophy Podcast, a bite-sized weekly podcast focused on empowering you to think better and upgrade your life. So let's talk about today's topic, about digital minimalism. Now I have a feeling that you know about minimalism. You know what it is, or at the very least, you have a pretty good idea. When you think about minimalism, you think about decluttering and having less things at your home. And that is the general idea. It's about having less. Lately, minimalism has become very popular, quite trendy even, because of its many advantages, including reducing stress and promoting peace of mind. Now here's the thing. Minimalism does not just apply to the things you own, to the material things. The principles of minimalism can also be useful for virtual things, like the number of apps you use on your phone. So it's minimalism for the digital things, thus digital minimalism. That's what digital minimalism is all about. It's about cutting down on your digital things. Now you're probably wondering why you should adopt digital minimalism. I mean, what's the point? Why should you cut down on your digital things? And here's why. Digital information is abundant these days, thanks to our technical advances. The technological advances, they have been really great. They have brought us many benefits. They have changed the way we live. So, they have brought on a lot of advancements and benefits, and they have made available a huge amount of information. There's a lot of information now on our fingertips, and there are lots of different ways to access and use all that digital information. The main one being your smartphone, of course. But that's not the only device that we can use to access the digital information. So your smartphone is not the only way for accessing all that information. We have laptops and other devices like that. Tablets, desktop computers, ebook readers, smart TVs, smart watches, and even smart cars. And then there is the more recent entry. Smart home devices like Alexa and Google Home. All of these devices, each and every one of them, add to the amount of digital information you get and use. And when you really take count, you'll see that there's a huge amount of information that you're exposed to every day from a variety of different sources, and they all take up your attention and energy. The more devices and apps and information sources you add to your life, the more demands you have on your attention and energy. It's a simple equation. The more devices and apps you have, the more information you will need to pay attention to, and the more demand there will be on your energy and your focus. It's a really simple equation. So I'm going to use an analogy to help you better understand the impact all the information has on you. Think of your mental energy reserve like a car's fuel tank. So let's say you had a good night's sleep. You're well rested and you feel great when you wake up. You wake up in the morning with a full tank. But then, as soon as you wake up, maybe you check the news on your phone or TV. Maybe you browse through your social media for a bit. Maybe you check your emails and spend some time there. All these activities, they all use up your mental energy. So your full tank is not full anymore after these seemingly small and insignificant things that you did. And that's what happens in just the first half an hour or hour of your day. So all that happens before you even start your day. Then you go on to do other things like watch the news or something else, or read something while getting ready for work or having your coffee. Maybe you spend some more time absorbing more information through your devices and your apps while you're having your coffee or enjoying your breakfast. And this goes on and on and on until you fall asleep at night. So until you actually shut down, the stream of information is constant. Now, not all of that information is bad, of course. I'm all for reading and nourishing your mind with good stuff. And I'm even in with you binging on Netflix to wind down now and then. That's not the issue. It becomes an issue when the barrage of information is non-stop. It becomes a problem when there's constantly some app or some other form of digital information is vying for your attention and using up your mental energy. So it becomes an issue when you have to spend a lot of time sorting through things that actually are avoidable and by and large unimportant and insignificant. It becomes an issue when your mental energy is used up on insignificant and unimportant things. You see, everything that needs your focus uses your mental energy, your fuel, if you will. And when you use that too much, your metaphorical car will stop running because you'll run out of gas, right? It's simple. You've experienced this yourself. So think back to those days when you felt really drained halfway through the day. That's what usually happens when you have used up your energy. So when you use up your energy doing or focusing on other things, you use up your fuel reserve. So you need to be careful and aware of that. And the irony is that most of the information that we often get swept away by and use up our valuable energy and time on, the lion's share of that isn't actually important. You see, you don't need 100 apps on your phone. You don't need to use multiple devices at the same time. They are not essential. They're certainly not important. And they have an impact on another important part of your life. So it doesn't just impact your mental energy, it also impacts another important part of your life, your mental health. Your mental health and well-being is important for your functioning. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. Your mental health is important and it is very dependent on your mental energy reserve. This is why it's challenging to feel happy when you feel drained, and vice versa. So your mental energy reserve has a huge impact on your mental health and well-being. But that's not all. Your physical energy is also directly connected to your mental energy, which is why you struggle to work when you feel mentally drained or stressed, or have pressing things on your mind, or have a lot of things to focus on. At the end of the day, having too many things to focus your mind on, having too many things to spend your mental energy on, is just not a good thing for you. It really is not. And I hope by now that point is clear to you. So do yourself a favor. Adopt digital minimalism. Do it for yourself. Do it for your mental health. Do it to be happier. Do it to have more peace of mind. And not to mention, to have more time to focus on the important things. So how can you adopt digital minimalism? Well, I've got you covered. Here are 4 things you can do today. 4 things you can do today to get started. They're not hard things, so you can get started today. Now here is the first thing. Get rid of the apps you don't really use or need. See, research has found that the average person has around 60 to 90 apps, often more, on their phone. That's 60 to 90 apps. That's a lot of apps. And the irony is, the majority only use between 3 to 10 apps, usually. So that's a huge difference. Like, think about having 90 apps on your phone, but only using 3 to 10 apps on a regular basis, and you will find that that's exactly what you do. Think about it. See what apps you use, and you will realize that that's exactly what you do. I know that's what I do. So I've actually had to recently go through a lot of apps and get rid of them. So figure out the apps that you really want to need and get rid of the rest. See, the more apps you have, the more distracting they will be, because the more focus they will need. So get rid of them. When you get rid of them, you cut out the problem at source. So that's the first thing you can do. And that's something that you can do right now. You can start within the next 5 minutes. Here is the second thing you can do today. Cut down on your time on social media. Cut down the time you spend on social media. Why? Because it's been proven that social media exposure can negatively impact your happiness levels. But not just that, it can even cause higher levels of stress and anxiety. Now, that's completely unnecessary. It's like you're volunteering to spend your valuable time and energy doing something that makes you unhappy. That's madness. So reduce the amount of time you spend browsing through social media. If you want to be a bit tough on yourself, you can limit yourself to checking your Facebook and other social medias once a month or so. See, for me, I roughly check mine about once every 3 months or so. And I know people who don't even have any social media accounts. So cutting down is very doable. That said, I'm not expecting you to go cold turkey. You don't need to do anything drastic today. Take baby steps. Cut down the amount of time you spend gradually, so that over time you won't spend more than 5 to 10 minutes a day browsing through your social media. So I'm not expecting you to do what I did. I'm rather suggesting that you cut down, and it will make it easier for you to do it gradually, so that hopefully over time you don't spend more than 5 to 10 minutes a day. Now, to make it even easier on yourself, you can get an app to help you restrict the amount of time you spend on your social media and other websites. There are actually several apps that track and even restrict the amount of time you spend on social media and other sites based on your preferences. So check them out. I'm going to give them a shot. So that's the second thing. Now here's the third thing you can do today to adopt digital minimalism. And that's to cut down on your email subscriptions. Have a look through your inbox. There are probably lots of different emails you get, and most of them you probably don't read. See, our mental focus, like I mentioned earlier, has limits, and multitasking is a myth. So the less emails you have to check, the less demands you have in your focus, and the more you can use your energy to focus on the things that really matter. So cut down on your email subscriptions. So that's the third thing. And here's the last and the fourth thing you can do today to adopt digital minimalism. And that's to stop being glued to your phone all the time. I mean, this is actually something that really agitates me personally. It's like a pet peeve of mine. I see people just being glued to their phones all the time. And you know what? Research in the USA has found that average person checks their phone every 12 minutes. That's 12 minutes. Every 12 minutes. But that's not the worst, because that same research found that about 10% of the population check their phones once every 4 minutes. Yes, you heard me right. Every 4 minutes. I mean, that's insanity. It just boggles my mind. I really hope you're not one of those 10%. That you're not that glued to your phone. But even if you are, right, even if you notice that you do tend to check your phone several times in an hour, it's good to have that awareness, because now you can start to work on that. So work to limit that. Work to limit the amount of time you spend and how much time you spend on checking your phone. Remember, whatever is going on will be there even after an hour, or longer even. The world will not end if you don't check your phone for half a day, or even longer, or say a full day. The world will not end. Give it a try. I can assure you, it will not stop. The world will not stop revolving. Things will not end. You know, if there are serious issues, people can always call you. So give it a try. Limit yourself to checking your phone only once an hour, and then work to gradually increase the amount of time you go between checking your phone. So start with once an hour and then increase gradually. And there are lots of different benefits for this as well. It's not just good for digital minimalism. So not only is limiting your phone usage good for your mental energy levels, It will also help improve your productivity levels and your happiness, and will even have a positive impact on your mental health. So it is a really good thing to do. That certainly makes it worth cutting down on how much you check your phone, won't you say? So cut down on how much you check your phone. So there you have 4 things you can do today to adopt digital minimalism and work at improving your life. At the end of the day, here is what you need to realize. Your mental energy has limits. So it is a smart thing to do to conserve your mental energy for the important things in life, including looking after yourself. Remember I talked about mental energy and mental health and well-being? It's important to look after yourself. And digital minimalism is a great way of helping you do that. See, at the end of the day, you don't want to find yourself with an empty tank halfway through the day while you haven't even gotten through the important tasks, do you? Right? You need to prioritize. So prioritize, become aware of what is using up your mental energy, and then use it wisely. Use your mental energy wisely. Less is more, not just for the things you own physically, but digitally too. Maybe more so. So cut down on the apps and social media and all the other sources of information that take up your mental energy. Cut down on them. Practice digital minimalism. I hope you found this talk useful. Thanks for being here today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know through my blog or Twitter. I'll include the link in the description. And tune in next week to learn how to declutter your mind. That's what I'm going to talk about next week. Subscribe to get notified. And until then, have a great week. And remember, think better to upgrade your life.